for our government just to say, okay, well, your debt is completely forgiven. Obviously, they have an agenda for that. They need votes in November. So the timing is a pure coincidence there as well. But it's completely unfair.
Completely unfair that students that have already labored and paid for years and years and years, this huge burden of financial student loan debt, that would be forgiven is unfair. And she won't stand for people getting their loans forgiven, except, as you probably can already tell, she has had loans forgiven. Now, I'm not the one that discovered that or even publicized it. Joe Biden, the White House, and apparently a new social media manager, who we're gonna talk about a little bit, decided to take it hard to Republican hypocrites who have been talking so much about how unfair this is. So you can see there the White House tweeting out, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene had $183,504 in PPP loans forgiven. And that was just the first blow, because she was not the only person who was crowing about how unfair this is and how terrible it is. So they started identifying so many of them. Now we're gonna give you the response of Marjorie Greene in just a minute, but they pointed out Vern Buchanan had $2.3 million in PPP loans forgiven. He apparently is an incredibly wealthy member of Congress, and yet for some reason desperately needed these loans. Mark Wayne Mullen had 1.4 million. Kevin Hearn had 1 million. And all of these they're very specific, very stripped down responses to a whole bunch of nonsense and BS. And I love the fact that it's all just the fact. Just the indisputable fact that you are complaining about something that you effectively benefited from, and that you benefited many, many, many times over, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, that you were perfectly fine to have forgiven for you, but now that a student is getting it forgiven, suddenly you have a big problem with it. And it's one of the most effective, like, sustained campaigns I've seen over the course of a day on social media from the White House. And as long as I can remember, they had something like 150,000 retweets on the main one. Like, people really liked seeing the 1-2 punch of a Democratic president literally doing something that was popular and that they campaigned on. They did it, and then they defended it vigorously on social media. And that is what people have been waiting to see for a long time, Brett. And so it was great.